Hello, friendos. Welcome to a live stream. We're part 5 of a 24-hour productivity and reading sprint day for Neva. That's Neva. I don't know who all's been here, who hasn't been here, because I haven't been here. Ta-da.
Woohoo.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Let us know in the comments what you've been working on, what you've accomplished. You know, we're on the back half, so maybe you've accomplished things already. Maybe you have a cat laying directly in front of you, purring. I do.
I wish I could have that.
That sounds nice.
It sounds wonderful.
Tail.
If I wasn't allergic to cats, God, I would have one.
Yeah, that does
Not
create
too easy to get a dog. They're also less expensive. So,
you know, she's very friendly.
at least they're less expensive, and I wouldn't have to get a specific breed of cat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are expensive because I can get 2 breeds.
I said I'm gonna have to start saving up my pocket change now because I want a Labradoodle next.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna need a lot of pocket change for that.
You will, which is to be honest, kind of silly. I'm gonna because it's not they're not official breeds.
Yeah.
As much as you would for an official breed for a Labradoodle. Chat with Brianna though, because she'll have a lot of insight into making sure you find someone who is doing the proper research and stuff.
So we have Australian Shepherds. We've done Aussie Doodles before.
Yeah.
And we have friends who do miniature Aussie Doodles. Mostly it's just they don't shed as much.
I feel like that would be that's an interesting cross because the poodle anxiety would probably play into some of the Aussie traits, but also poodles are a little bit calmer than Aussies.
My Aussies are the calmest Aussies on the planet. They're both overweight. They don't exercise enough. They literally just they would lay in the house all day, every day if you let them. They have the weirdest Aussies on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, mine won't leave me alone. I have to throw a bone 6,000 times a day. And they run around my house and they tear up all my stuff. And I'm like, I can't get mine to wake up to walk across the room.
Because yours knows that they live in the environment where they would actually be put to work. And they don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
They will go to the barn with you when you go to the barn. Like that, they're very excited. Like when it's time to go to play with the horses, they get real excited. And they run to the backfield. They also like to herd the children. You know, it's 10 acres of fun. So they if there's more than one child, they will run around them in circles and herd them to one spot. So
those instincts kick in.
They do. We used to have goats. And I used to say that they were when we had our older Aussie who was 17. When she was around 13, 14, she couldn't really do horses anymore. And we had a couple of goats, and we used to joke that was her retirement job because she still wanted a job, but she wasn't fast enough to run with the horses anymore. So she would herd the goats instead.
That's funny.
Her retirement gift. Goats.
Goats. Yeah.
I am comfortable with the idea of owning a working breed. The only ones that I would not want to own would be a Malinois or next level or a border collie because again, next level. I say this is someone who loves a schnauzer and they're working breeds. I have found that their levels of energy are manageable and match mine. I think a border collie would just own me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Me too.
Yeah,
for sure. But one of the girls at book club has a golden doodle, and he is my dog Flash in a golden doodle body. So I love him. Of course, he comes to book club and he sits on my feet and I pet him for an hour.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And we love him. And they don't shed. So if you've ever lived with an Australian Shepherd, you understand the shed. Just piles of hair. Open the doors on both sides of the house because they're across from one another. And hairballs will just blow out from underneath the couch like tumbleweeds.
I'm filling out an application, or the application to because a lot of breeders, they want you to fill the application out before you send them any requests or anything. So I'm filling that out for what's going to be hopefully the breeder for my next dog. And it's very funny because there is a question there that says, are you aware that while schnauzers are low shed, that they still shed? And I was like, so tempted to just put, while we were still finding my dog's hair, like a year after she died. So yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Like she was fully dead. And I was like, I have a splinter in my foot. And I looked down and I was like, no, that's a schnauzer hair that has come out from underneath a couch or something when we vacuumed.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We had a long hair cat at work. It's probably been a year and a half ago. And I will still find like clumps of long hair cat fur in places. And I'm like, I know I clean this place.
I swear the hair spawns. Like it just appears.
Mm-hmm.
Because once your pet dies, you're like, sometimes the grief comes out in like cleaning. So
Yeah.
you've done that a few times, but there's still
yeah.
hair.
We have our front door is fully like paned glass, and like there's a little one at the bottom that was right at her eye level. And she would like just sit there when we came home, she'd be sitting there, nose pressed to the glass. We left those nose prints on there for like a year or two. Partly because I don't like to clean and I hate that chore, but also because it was like I didn't clean the window at all, but it was also like no one wanted to clean that window because we were like, yeah, then she's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that this one will last a bit longer and not get cancer. Or get cancer early enough that it makes sense to treat it. No, I don't want my dog to get cancer at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
You're fine. I'm going to say hi to our friends.
Say
Maybe.
hi.
Merlin, is that you? It's Merlin, by the way, who is clicking on and off comments. So
Merlin.
she's
Sure.
her head's like on the very corner of the keyboard and she's rubbing it. So, you know, naturally. Well, you're going to give people seizures if you don't stop. Hey, come here. Beefball. Anyway, Morgane's reading The Night Circus, but we'll probably get some breakfast first. I will be getting lunch during the first sprint. It is my breakfast, but I will be having lunch foods. So if you can't tell from the dying rasp in my voice, I've been awake for about 30 minutes. Nicole is listening to Not in Love by Allie Hazelwood and is about 50%.
Yeah.
Hello, Ro. Hello, Gigi. Hello, Tamil. Perfect timing to offset chatty bits with Brittany's sprints. Yeah, Brittany is sprinting this morning. I have notifications of things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ro is 10% into the new VE swap and likes it.
Nice.
I've heard good things. It's sitting over there on the shelf. It'll probably be 3 years before I read it, but it's over there. You know how that works. Drinking coffee, reading The Host. Cat is by me, and my grandson is still sleeping. He stayed up late playing Roblox. That is a thing they do. Bless you.
Thank you.
Nice.
Morning, so I might allow myself a half-hour reading break.
Nice.
Yes, Merlin has traded off with Raja. Last night, Raja was in here causing a mess. Now, Merlin is causing a mess. Mostly because Raja is outside. I don't know why. She stays inside at night, And then when it's a bajillion degrees outside, she's like, I want to go outside. And I'm like, okay, you're sure. You do you. I'll be inside. Yeah. Good morning, Stacy. I was listening to a book this morning, so I think I'm going to write for a bit. I have no idea what I'm doing today. I need to write for my 75-day goal thing, but I also need to read. So who knows? Patricia has a Malinois. She's as bad as they are made out to be, as long as she has plenty of puzzle games. She's very content.
Oh, they're wonderful dogs, from what I understand. They just require a huge amount of they're just such both mentally and physically energetic dogs. And from I have friends that they're in a work, they know people that do bite sports and stuff. One of their friends has, one of Hal's friends had several Malinois at one point. So I've listened to what some of the stuff that's involved with all of them, and a lot of people will get them and not understand what they are getting into, So it's one of those things. It's I do, and I understand that is more than I would be able to handle. Also, I would sneeze my face off.
That too. I definitely think they have to have a job, and just as someone who has Aussies, they have to have a job, and if they don't have a job, they can be too much to handle. And you do have to have a place for them to run to be happy.
People don't understand a lot of the time that when you get a working breed, you are committing to making. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be doing competitions and all of that, but you do need to commit to doing the thing, giving them an outlet for the thing that they are genetically designed to do, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. Mine definitely. They do some running around on the farm, with the other animals and with the kids, but mostly they are couch potatoes. And I don't know how I've had 4 Aussies and all 4 of them have been couch potatoes. They've just been these people don't make me work. All right, I'll lay down and take a nap. Cool. I don't know how I got so lucky, but I did. We were joined by a breed. Hello, breed. Not a dog person, but a rescue beagle likes to sleep in my office. Now he does it even if I'm not in the room.
My dog would sleep when I would sleep in my room when I was gone. She likes having the bed to herself.
9 times out of 10, if you're looking for Merlin in the house, she's in my room, but that's just because she doesn't like other people. So whether I'm here or not, she prefers to just be in here by herself.
My lab that we had when I was still living with my parents, she would only come and sleep under my bed when it thunderstormed.
Mm-hmm.
It was because when she was a puppy, she got scared and she came into my room and I got under the bed with her and laid down and petted her. So ever since then, she would come and sleep under my bed during thunderstorms. It was very cute.
I'm going to employ, with the new puppy, and this is a ways out because I don't even know if the breeder has a litter yet. I'm going to employ some service dog training techniques that I learned from Cal so that she's maybe a little less scared of loud noises.
Mm.
So we will see.
Ruby always, if it was a thunderstorm, she would wait, at night specifically, she would wake me up and get me out of bed and would make me go lay in the bathroom with her because it was the most central room. And so she couldn't hear it as much in there. Mm-hmm. And so I just got into the habit of whenever there was a thunderstorm, I would just grab my blanket and pillow and go lay on the bathroom floor and sleep with the dog so that she would be calm. And in the morning, get up and throw everything in the wash and start over again.
Yeah.
And that was just where she was. It's I need to go lay on the bathroom floor. This is where I'm happy. And I'm okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's funny.
These 2 monsters I have now, they just climb in bed and lay on top of me. And so I think they're trying to suffocate me. So they take me out before the storm does.
Yeah. Luckily she wasn't out of her mind scared to hide under the bed. I think it was more of a comfort thing because she'd wake me up, put her nose in my face, I'd pet her, and then she'd go under the bed. So
Susie liked to have something over top of her when it stormed, like this desk that I'm sitting at. One of the things that she would, and she would never, she was scared, so she would never stay there for long. But she would, when a storm started, like she would try and go, like she'd go under the desk, trying to get away from it. And I'm just
Twix
like,
is
God.
like that all the time, all day, every day. She wants to be enclosed. Now, I assume that she was a rescue, and we know that she was abused, and that they basically just kept her kenneled 24/7.
Yeah.
And I feel like if she was in her kennel, they weren't doing anything to her that hurt her. So when she's enclosed, she feels safe. So that, I mean, just
Dogs,
regular day, she's laying under every desk, kitchen table, wherever she can get.
yeah, dogs just naturally like having like a den space, something kind of over top of them. That's why crating works so well for dogs. And why, like, when you will have a dog that's not crated, you will frequently find them under a bed, under, like, Susie's place was like the kitchen table when she was like overstimulated. So yeah, she also liked to be under the kitchen table because we were there.
Okay, I'm gonna do some things.
And I still don't know how we trained her not to beg, and I wish I did.
My dogs lie on either side of the kitchen and wait to hear food drop.
Yeah.
Because they know if it's hit the floor, it's fair game. They know not to like stand there and wait, but they know if it falls on the floor, it's fair game. So they will both just wait on either side of the kitchen and wait to hear food drop. They run in and whoever grabs it first grabs it, then they leave again and then they wait for something else to drop.
See, I know how we trained Susie to do that, like to wait at the kitchen door until we released her to come and get anything that dropped on the floor. Because, you know, sometimes stuff drops on the floor and you do not want your dog to eat it. Like, you don't want your dog to get a grape. But I don't remember how we trained her to just like lie under the table and not bother us for food at all.
Flash has 100% eaten a grape before, but he weighs 110 pounds, so one grape is probably not going to hurt him too much.
Yeah.
He's a big boy. He's the vet the other day, again, you really need to put that dog on a diet. And I'm like, he's on a diet. He doesn't eat very much. He's just very fat. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Don't be mean to my baby. So mean. Anywho.
We're going to have the opposite problem. Her dog does not eat and will not gain weight. And they still they get people. She would get people calling her. She's like, I can't do anything. We're feeding her. We try to get her to eat. She just doesn't, and she seems fine. But that's like partly that's just the breed, probably.
Yeah, some dogs are like that. They're all weird.
They are.
Would you guys like to do an hour sprint so we can do all the things that we need to do?
I would love to do an hour sprint.
Neva might take a nap.
I might.
How did the middle of the night go, Neva?
It went fine, but then I went and laid down during Julie's sprints, but then it took like 2 hours for me to finally actually sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But what I do is I mute my computer out here because the roommate from hell complains about it. So I mute my computer out here and I have the sprint on my phone so I can at least hear what's
going on.
So we got to Julie's last sprint and it roused me from the depths of sleep. So I was like, well, I might as well go out there just for a minute. And I was like, Jess will understand if I go back to lay down.
So. Please do. If I could go back to bed, I would.
But Ari's calm currently, so if she can stay calm for 2 more hours, then I can sleep for a little while. And then later this afternoon, I'll take her because she's like, if I let you come take a nap, can we go to the library for my daily slip? And I was like, yeah.
I guess.
I decided to be calm.
Okay, go play the rubbies.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said her name. You awoke the beast.
Yeah, she came out here to let me know that she was going to be calm this morning.
Okay.
We'll see how long that lasts.
I read that.
Morning's almost over. She's only got like an hour and a half left.
I know, right?
Okay. Let me make sure we're at 1 time speed because that's my downfall usually. Okay. We will see you guys in an hour. Welcome back, friends. How did everybody do?
I had lunch.
What did you have for lunch?
Some chicken and some noodles. So
I had salad with fried chicken in my salad,
nice.
which is one of my favorite things at this point in I'm currently in a as they say, a weight loss journey.
Mm.
And that way I love salad anyway, but like I never feel cold food doesn't make me feel full.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I
like
get
I could
that.
eat a salad and then still be like, I need food things.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to do like a hot meat on a cold salad, and then I feel like I actually ate a food.
Yes,
And
Yeah.
it's fantastic.
Yeah.
that's the best
You
way
gotta
to do
trick
meat
your
on
brain.
salad.
Make the brain do what you want it to do and not what it wants to do.
Exactly.
What did you accomplish, Miss Margaret?
Not much. I did eat what I am going to call breakfast. I had some cereal, and it was before noon, so there's that. And then I worked on. I'm going to post the intro to the mid-year scramble as a short, but I needed to re-edit some parts because of the way that because I don't want Taylor to get my money.
I think she's got enough at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not mad about her getting some money from it. And again, this is short, so I'm not getting any money, but I didn't want it to get, I would prefer for it to not be demonetized. So I went ahead and I edited it so that I will be able to then, when I put it up as a short, because like basically what I have to do so that the audio works is I'm going to have to upload the part that I'm going to be putting her song over. And then I have to upload the part that I want to be people able to be listening to me talking. So that's how I had to do it on TikTok too. Because I don't want people, specifically because I don't want people to be able to hear me singing for this part.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Fair.
You can, if you want to see that, you can go watch the full video. Okay.
Right. I watched the full video the day that it came out, but I was like doing other things. So I 100% did not pay attention to like anything other than like I didn't actually look at any of the graphics and see what any of the prompts or anything were.
Already seen that intro because I sent it to y'all.
You did, but I watched it because I'm a good friend. And ask Julie. I was commenting on videos last weekend that she posted over a year ago. I'm that far behind, so it's fine.
I feel that.
It's fine. We're all where we are.
I deleted over 900 videos out of my watch later for BookTube last weekend, and just kept things that were like from my friends or were like relevant, because I put basically everything in there. And like at this point, I don't need to watch a TBR from November of 2023.
No, TBRs go away if I don't watch them.
Yeah. But yes, I deleted 900 videos through either watching or just yeeting into the void last weekend. So I'm doing okay.
Listen.
But yeah, I need to go back and watch it so that I can actually figure out which plan of attack I'm going to take and decide what I'm going to do and decide how many readathons I'm going to do next month, because I wasn't going to do any. But here I am.
Yes, well,
because to me, mid-year scramble is not really a readathon. Like it's
more like a reading challenge, I guess. If you really think about it.
Yeah, it's more of like me just picking a track to follow to decide what I'm going to read for the month. It's kind of like pulling things from a TBR game, basically.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of the tarot readathon every year, but I usually start it and then don't finish. But as a tarot girly, I love the idea. But I'm usually burnt out from Amazing Readathon, but I really have not done anything for Amazing this year. So
Yeah.
I was hoping my reading
followed
slump
2 books.
that Amazing would like kick my reading slump to the curb, because it usually does kick the kind of May reading slump I get into to the curb. It did not.
Mm.
So I'm working on finishing some books because I'm reading books that I'm actually enjoying right now. But yeah, I haven't been useless, but I have not been as useful as I would have liked to be. Let's put it that way.
I joined the no competition team for a reason. Because I knew I was going to be with my girlies for 6 days, and that I wasn't going to want to pick up a book or try to pay attention to Discord.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I don't even think I opened Discord for a week. But
Yeah.
I had the best time. Luckily, Escape pulled me out of my reading slump, because I think I read like 16 books in April. And that
Nice.
was like more
Amazing.
than I had read the whole year at that point. So
I was seeing your Instagram reviews go up, and I was like, Jess is reading.
yeah, that was like a month and a half's worth. So sad. And then at the beginning of the month, I made my own story template for Amazing, because I was just reading random, because of the way that being on the non-competitive team, I can't really use the graphics that she's releasing, because not all of them are out for the prompts that I'm doing. But like now, I'm so far behind that most of them are out, but I'm still just like using the one that I made, because I'm like, oh, they all match now, so whatever.
Yeah, I knew that if I joined the non-competitive team, I would do no reading, and I didn't want that to be the case. So I needed I need some pressure, guys. Come on.
I think I've read 5 books this month. Maybe.
We're not going to
4 or
talk about
5.
how many books I read this month.
Um,
I've got a couple that I'm just going to be giving my team a lot of points here in the next couple of days.
I think you're on my team, so I'm glad anybody's doing more than me. I kept up through the first 8 legs, and now I've just resorted to graphic novels. I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not burnt out, but I don't want to get there, so I'm just.
I have finished 4 books, DNF'd 1. I am halfway through this chunker, because I think this is like 400 pages. And then I'm like a quarter of the way into this. So I will probably finish the Darcy Coates by the end of the month. I might finish Backhanded Compliments, maybe. I'm reading this physically with my eyeballs and annotating. So
Yeah.
Check when that book club is.
Who knows? But trying to do the things. And I read a lot in May. A lot. I think I said April. I meant May. You knew what I meant.
No, you said May.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, 15 that I finished. March also wasn't terrible. But March was Realmathon, so that also helped.
Yeah.
So maybe if I do a month-long readathon next month, that'll help, in theory. Maybe because I didn't go as hard for Amazing that I normally do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
See what happens. I'm thinking, as I continue to live in the world of, will she ever come back to YouTube other than for live streams for Neva's 24 hour sprints? Because that's about the only time I exist on the internet. I think September is going to be my month. I think I'm going to like re-emerge during spooky season. I'm just going to start spooky season in September. And just like pop out of the ground like a cicada. And
I thought you were gonna say a zombie, like to stay on theme of spooky season, and then cicada really.
Well, it's been longer than most zombies hibernate, you know.
That's true.
It's been a minute. But you know, maybe like Billy from Hocus Pocus, rise from the grave. So I think I have pulled my audience, aka my group of friends, my writer friends anyway. And I think I'm going to do Summer Scare Readathon as the last week of summer going
Yeah.
into fall. That way it's in September. I have plenty of time. I can plan because I have really not even thought about it at this point, and it's almost July. So
Yeah.
and there's so much this month. And then I know Jan's full moon readathon is usually in August, usually at the beginning or the end. And I don't want to overlap that because that's one I would like to do.
Yeah.
And I can't run one and do one at the same time. So I think doing the last full week of summer will just be like a fun transition into fall season. And I don't have to plan right this second. I can think about it for a minute. Yay.
Yay.
Very nice.
That's what you missed on Glee.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
I have thought about Fable and I haven't figured out what I'm doing with it yet, though.
You have a lot more planning to do than me because my readathon is I make nine prompts and usually 3 of them are the same as the year before, and then 3 of them are the same as the year before, just with a different color or shape.
Yeah.
I'm not very.
And then I remembered how I run my readathon.
Yours does have a lot of work. There's like videos to film and characters
Yeah.
to see, and
Here's the thing: is the hard thing is actually coming up with the encounters. Once I come up with the encounter, like figuring out the prompts is easy because you can only have so many, right?
options. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so like it's like one of those things. I'm like, I don't. Okay. How did I do this so screwed up? I am all over currently right now with this embroidery.
She's struggling.
She's struggling. She's confused as to how I keep finding bits that have not been finished. I don't know what's going on right now, guys. I'm sorry.
I don't know the answer either.
Why, Jess? You're supposed to know all the answers.
Oh, if that's the truth, we're in trouble.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Please don't make me be in charge. I don't want to be in charge.
I regret to inform you that you are an adult, so that does mean sometimes you have to be in charge.
No, I don't want to. We were joined by friends. We have friends. Oh no, the kitty gave you a present in the morning. That we don't want that.
Oh.
We don't want kitty presents. I have a kitty. She's right here. Managed to read a bit, like groceries, started meal prep for the next couple of days. I have to figure out what I'm going to make for lunch for next week. I have been living off of frozen, in particular, Healthy Choice Cafe steamers because they are good. And I don't have to think about a food at lunchtime. I can just put a bunch of them in the freezer at work and it's easy and I don't have to think. But I have reached my limit. It's been about 5 weeks and I can no longer. So now I have to actually use brain power and I don't want to, but I have to. So.
I fucking hate that, like, because when I used to do, like, I mean, I still do some meal prep because that's the only way that I end up eating lunch. If I don't have something prepped and easy to go, I will skip lunch because I don't want to take the time. I'm just like, making food doesn't sound like fun, so no. But I hate how, like, I'll be in the, like, I would have, like, be like, okay, this is the best thing ever, and like, I could go for months eating the same thing, and then I'd be like, okay, now we're tired of this. We don't want it anymore.
I have that problem a lot, specifically with lunch meat. Like, I can eat lunch meat for ages, and then, like, the next time I take a bite out of a sandwich, we'll have an immediate gag reflex, like, for no reason.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, well, why?
Same.
Why do my safe foods turn on me?
in the middle of
cruel when they
do.
I was the last day of vacation with the girls. That was because we eat so much junk when we're together and no one actually makes a meal. We just kind of snack for breakfast and lunch and then we'll usually go to dinner. And so I bought, when I got there, a loaf of bread, some ham and cheese, and I was just eating lunch meat sandwiches for breakfast, or brunch, if
Yeah.
you will, because who gets up early enough for breakfast? And like the last day, I had like 3 bites of my sandwich before I left, and I was like, yep, I have reached the limit. I know what the limit is now. It is this. This is it. So
Yeah.
Tennille cannot do raw leafy things because of medical issues. Tried different combos of
Ooh.
warm veg and said, I can do that. I mean, there are a lot of warm veg that I like, but I do actually like salad. I just don't feel like it's a food unless it's hot. And I know that that's crazy, but my brain does not equate cold food with a meal. I don't know. I don't have reasons. Nicole listened to the Not in Love audiobook and cross-stitched. We love that.
Nice.
We have the playlist up. Also, I did manage to set up a redirect to Margaret's video, since Margaret's the only one that's left after this. So you will be, should in theory, be sent directly there.
And
Whether
Margaret
that's true or not.
did go and complain on Threads to YouTube.
Yes.
That's my usual thing when YouTube does something that pisses me off, because I know they'll respond with that stupid fucking link. I'm like, come on, if you've got somebody that's anyways, my favorite thing is they name search themselves on Twitter. Like, bro, I didn't tag you.
I mean,
it's probably a bot or something, but I'm still like, if I didn't, you don't need to, if someone didn't tag you, you don't need to respond. And if you're going to respond to untagged stuff, you should have a human in charge of that with the discernment to be able to tell when someone's just complaining or when they actually want a response from you.
You know what I miss about Twitter back when I used to use Twitter?
I still use it.
TweetDeck. I miss TweetDeck.
Oh God, TweetDeck was so nice.
It was fantastic. You could just have
everything,
whole feeds of just hashtags that you were following.
Yep.
Or keywords, and you didn't have to like. It was so fantastic. I miss that.
Yep.
I deleted my Twitter account a few years ago, mostly because I have had a Twitter account, the same Twitter account, since the beginning of Twitter. Like when I joined, you had to be invited by someone.
Yeah.
And I was friends with someone who was a musician who is actually now a baker. And so she invited me to Twitter. And so I've had this account for a bajillion years. And I don't know what 23-year-old Jessica was saying on the internet, and I don't trust her. So I just deleted the account. Because I mean, I could go back and look. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could have went back and looked, but I don't want to know.
I follow someone on Twitter that he will regularly delete his entire timeline, like everything that he has posted. So there's a way to purge what you have posted in the past.
Yeah. Oh, I purged it and then I just deleted the account. Like I don't exist.
I don't think I mean, I know I was friends with people that I do not agree with now. I don't think I posted anything too terrible on Twitter because I was aware of the fact that I was on the internet and that not that my views were hateful, but that my views would get a lot of pushback. So there were certain things I was like, you know what, this is my business and my business. So like I don't need to, not my business, I don't need to put this on other people, because I was very much hey, this is my interpretation of the Bible. I'm not going to put that interpretation on someone else. I realize that is a very rare thing to find in a Christian, at least an evangelical Christian. But I still know that like probably there was stuff that crept out in that. Specifically stuff that like when you look at it, you would sit there and go, girl, you dumb white.
And that's the thing too. Like I probably shared things that I thought were funny that like 23-year-old stupid me thought was funny that isn't funny.
Yeah.
And me today would be like very upset with myself for having thought something like that was funny or had that belief. And so I just don't want it to exist. And I feel like that's like we should have that grace with people. If it's been more than a decade, you're allowed to have some grace.
Yeah. Well, and my thing is, I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty staunch in what my view, like open about what my views are now and the fact that they've changed. So if you want to go on my Twitter and find something, or my Tumblr is secret. You don't need to know my Tumblr, but if you want to go find my Twitter and then like find shit that I posted, yeah, you can find the shit. I'm gonna say, yeah, that was really gross, and I have since grown past that. That was from 2012, my friend.
That is the beauty of people, is that we can learn and grow and change, but a lot of people
And
don't.
I feel like I have demonstrated the fact that I have grown past that. Like, I'm not
at some point,
trying to hide that anymore, guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pickled veg bean salad with chicken for lunches, especially in summer.
I want to know why, like, my brain likes to have salads in the winter, but soup in the summer. Why are we built that way?
My brain does not do that. My brain is a soup all time of year except in the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I love soup.
My like, I'll be like, I want potato salad or potato soup all summer long, and then we'll get to like the cooler months, fall and winter, and I'll be like, I want taco salad. That's all I want to eat.
Although I do occasionally in the summer want soup at work for lunch because I'm cold.
Yes,
The air conditioning
work
like
is
gets
cold.
me.
Tennille questions if it's the Florida AC in the summer that makes things dry.
I have
So
no idea.
From soup, maybe.
I mean, here's the thing: our AC is set lower than most people, or high. Our AC is set higher than most people's AC because we run our AC at like 76, 78. I fully understand because we live in an old house, so it's really hard to heat this thing, or like not heat. It's really hard to like it's very leaky. It's 100 years old.
Hard to moderate temperature.
Yeah, it's large. It's like a 2-story house, so there is a lot. Like, it's a lot harder. Like, if I was doing 76 in my apartment in college, it would be frigid. Here in this house, it is livable.
Mom currently has the air set on 78, and I am sitting under a fan on high and sweating. And she's like, it's fine. We don't need it set lower than that. And I'm like, you have spent too much time in Florida and acclimated to the heat, because this is not Ohio weather, my friend. Like, I am so hot.
Yeah.
I'm going to die. Probably not, but it feels that way.
I mean, it does mean that your AC lives a little longer. It does help with the longevity of your AC when you set it up at higher, and it helps with the electricity bill. However, at least in my room, my fan doesn't work very well. It's very slow. So I don't get a lot of air movement in my room unless I bring in a box.
Mine's newer, so it's doing its job.
Yeah.
It's also getting replaced soon, because I'm putting that darn ceiling fan that I bought for Danica's room in here. Bought it for my room, and then she took my room because she's a brat.
That's nice, Tennille. That'd be great here. 63?
63 would be fantastic. So
actually, I feel like that would be what we would consider to be a bit chill here.
Yeah.
Because the water gets cold, or the air gets cold and wet.
My friend keeps her house at like between 65 and 68 all year round. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. And it is so cold that like I walk into her house in the summer and just grab a blanket before I sit on the couch, because I know I'm going to need it. And she likes it to be cold enough that she needs a blanket. And I'm like,
I had a friend that her husband gets hot really easily, so their AC is always icy.
A lot of times at work, like even this week, I started the week out the mornings out with a blanket on my lap.
Mm-hmm.
And then like by the time afternoon hits and it just gets hotter and hotter and hotter, then the blanket's just on the chair. But in the
Mhm.
morning it's chilly in the office.
Yeah. I woke up sweaty this morning because it was so hot. I was like, oh, come on.
Oh, we should do another sprinty sprint.
Sure.
Let's see. We have 2 hours till you start, Margaret.
Give or take. It's almost
So-
one.
Let's do 45.
Mhm.
Hello, I said to pause. Rude. And then we'll have maybe like a half hour one at the end or something.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. If we do an hour, then we have to talk for an hour because, I mean, not that
We
we
won't.
couldn't talk for an hour, but you know,
Somebody might come on and yell at us for not sprinting enough.
Yeah.
right? No one in this crowd, but someone for sure.
Yeah. There are people out there that would.
There definitely are.
Oh God, I forgot that was you.
It was Julie. 100% Julie.
Yeah, it was me.
Oh my God, why do you guys talk so much? Because we're friends and we like each other.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. It's fine not for that not to be your preference, but like, man, that's not my problem. Go find someone else to do productivity or sprint. There are timers out there for you, man. If you don't want talking, just go grab a timer.
Yeah.
I
Got
have
a
some
whole
on my
channel
phone.
of them.
Yeah.
Look,
Oh yeah,
there's
this one has a whole channel of them too.
hmm
Look at that. Ta-da.
Whoever came up with that phrase that's like, this is not an airport, you don't have to announce your departure, like,
Yep,
just applies so many times.
so many places.
It's fantastic. We love it. Okay, we're going to do a 45-minute sprint, and then we'll see you guys when we get back. We're back, bestie friends. How did everybody do?
I don't know where that 45 minutes went, so I don't know what I did.
That's fair. Margaret, anything special?
No, I had to argue with TikTok because I tried to edit a caption and TikTok both times like, we've rejected your edit of this caption. Okay, I'll just delete the TikTok and repost it then with the correct caption with the hashtags that I want.
Fair.
Anyways, so I didn't get
I
done what I wanted to get done, but we did start uploading footage for a TikTok I want to film for tomorrow, or that I want to edit for tomorrow.
Okay. I worked on my planner a little bit and then looked at the time and had about 5 minutes left. So I sat here in my chair with my eyes closed for 5 minutes.
I feel like that was a potential mistake.
Just had like a nice little, just like relaxing 5 minutes. Nobody's talking to you. You want them to talk to you?
We will always say hello.
Mhm.
Hi.
Hello.
All right, go ahead, go, please. Thank you. Let's see. We were joined by Georgia
Hello, Georgia.
and Jean. Tennille read some of that sprint. Joined by Amalin, who joined for the last 15 minutes and wrote some words.
Nice.
Stacey got some words and switched over laundry, sorted the dry clothes to fold.
Stacy, you just saved me. I need to go check on my laundry.
I need to do mine as well.
I don't know what laundry is. Never heard of it before.
It's also on my list of things to do this weekend. But, I'll get there when we get there.
Nice.
Hillary took a nap and made it to 64% in Sunbringer. I have decided that I'm going to have to reread God Killer and Sunbringer before I get into Faithbreaker. I've had an arc of Faithbreaker, and I just kind of was in the middle of my reading up there. Those are words.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't feel like I remember enough to go back in. The other night we came up with a new term called, was this book bad or do I just have the shingles? Because I read so many books last year when I had shingles that were like books that I should have loved or were parts of series that I enjoyed. And I just like either have completely forgotten the entire plot of the book or I didn't like it. And so now it's, was this a bad book or do I just have the shingles? And unfortunately, Sunbringer was part of that. I don't remember a single plot point of Sunbringer. And I feel like if I'm going to reread it, I might as well reread God Killer as well.
I feel like that's understandable, though, if you were sick.
Yeah. I
think that's fair.
So many books that I read that I'm just like, I don't even know. There are books that I don't even remember reading during that time period. So
I keep forewarning people that tell me they're going to reread God Killer to be prepared for the prologue to hit differently on reread.
Oh.
Because it hit me so hard the second time.
Oh, yeah, because I'm now thinking of what the prologue is.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
All right. I'd like to say I'm prepared, but I'm never prepared.
Yeah.
I also need to get back to rereading through the Truth Witch series because I read Truth Witch with you and then stopped.
I've only made it one more book.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually have been reading a lot of things off of my shelves the last month or so. Um,
Mhm.
so hopefully I can get back into like things from my shelves, things I need to reread, things I need to work on.
Mhm.
A girl can dream.
Yeah. Plans and dreams, hopes and dreams.
I think I've done a lot better since I did my yearly reread of
Mm-hmm.
Semi-Definitive List, which was like the first thing that I read in April. Normally I read it in January or February, and I was just
Yeah.
like in the middle of my reading slump and I didn't read it. And for some reason, that because that is like my favorite book, it just like resets my whole brain, and I needed a brain reset. And I've done a lot better since then.
Awesome.
But also, I've read some. I still have been putting off the last 3 books of the Throne of Glass series. I've effectively like just completely fallen out of the group read.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm 4 books behind now. Yeah, because they read the first book of Crescent City this month, and I haven't picked that up either. So definitely, but I don't know if it's because they're so big that I've like, because I'm in a reading slump, a book that big terrifies me,
Yeah.
or if I'm like, if I read that, I'm not going to read anything else. I don't know what the issue is. My brain has like completely put a block in it for those for some reason. Who knows?
Yeah. And like if you were fighting to read them when you were in your reading slump, sometimes that puts me off.
Yeah. I started reading. I'm in the tandem read of Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn, which I think I've decided not to do a tandem read of, because I started one and then was just like, I don't really feel like reading, and the idea of reading 2 different books is even more daunting, and so I don't want to do that. And it's not that I'm not enjoying it, because I am. Part of it is because someone spoiled me on like a big thing that happens that I'm not ready to read. So there's like a lot of reasons of just like not, but I prefer that series over the Court of Thorns and Roses series. Not that it's bad. I enjoy both, but I prefer the more world building, backstory, etc., versus just a romance heavy book. But
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah. I'd say like Throne of Glass, at least from what I got, that one was more a fantasy that had a romance in it. And then ACOTAR is definitely romantasy.
Yes, definitely. Morgan baked cookies. We love cookies. Hi, Merlin. What are you doing? Why are you like this? Why is your butt in my face? I don't want your butt in my face. Oh, Christina got some chores done, read a little, and chatted a lot. We love chatting. See you at Margaret's taking a nap. Yay for reading off the shelves. It's a thing that we're doing. Tower of Dawn is almost like reading a different book, so it took me a while to get into. Ended up liking it once I got into it. Read them as they came out, so there was no tandem read. Yeah, I feel like that was part of it too. Was while most of the people that I've been reading these with, everybody else has been reading them for second, third, 12th time. So if they want to do the tandem read, that's fine. But I also feel like, as I have been the person who was reading them all for the first time, that I should read them the way everyone else had to read them.
I understand why people like tandem reads. It's too much work.
It wasn't so bad when I first looked at the so Bethany shared a graphic in the Discord server for the tandem read, And it wasn't that bad. Like there wasn't a lot of swaps until we realized that that was just like page 1 of like 3 pages of that graphic. She didn't have the other 2 things on. So then it was like,
Oh,
I'm like, no, I don't want her. Like if it was
Yeah.
just
I
like swapping every once in a while, I'd be okay. But it's like every other chapter.
Mhm.
And I'm not here for that.
I feel like if for you to appreciate a book or a set of books, you have to swap back and forth between them to get the full experience. Like if you want to do that because you enjoy that experience, okay. But if that's what you have to do to get the full experience and understand the story, that's bad writing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think a lot of it
No.
is experience with this one, but like people shouldn't have to, like the impression from the previous book should be enough that they are able to read the next book without you having to without them having to go back and forth.
Yeah. And I think some of it too is maybe not even necessarily that, but that
Mm-hmm.
she was writing to what her agent, editor, and publisher were wanting. And so to get in the full story, she had to write things the way that she did.
Yep.
And so that is, I mean, as we know from Suze's writing as well, that sometimes you just have to do what they tell you to do. And
Here's the thing though, that
often suffer
when
for it.
I know that happened with what was the Witch Shadow.
Yeah,
It still works as a story device on its own though,
it does.
right? I personally think that we could have just started. We didn't have to go do that. We could have done everything in a linear chronological order. I understand that kind of it saved her some time. I would have read a longer book. But like at least once things clicked, it works as a story,
Yeah.
right? It's clearly a literary device and it works as a story. But like if it like you can do those things and still have things work as a story on their own.
It's really weird though when you are reading a multiple book series and you get to book 5 and that in the incomplete way that you've written everything else has changed. And again, it is because of the way that the agents, editors, publishers wanted her to do things.
Which, yeah, I remember when she posted on Twitter about figuring that out for Witch Shadow. And I was just like, I understand this. I get this. This makes sense. And I think it's an interesting literary device. It's not my preferred literary device, but it is also a literary device that actually exists and has been used.
Stuck on Queen of Shadows. That is the 4th book. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're counting the novellas, the 5th book, but the 4th book. I was having a good time. I just quit reading them, man. I feel like too, if I had read them differently, to be fair, had I not been reading them with the group, I wouldn't have continued to pick them up. So that would be one thing. But because we stopped reading at a certain point and then switched to the other series because we were reading them in publication order, I think that also was part of it too. Because we got out of that world, went into the other, and then we're hopping around. Sometimes the way you read things just doesn't work for you. And so you gotta wait until it works again. Brains. Yeah, Tower of Dawn, people really don't like, but people that don't like Tower of Dawn, most of them don't like it because they don't like Kale. And considering that book is 99.7% Kale, then you wouldn't like it.
Right.
So
I thought the point of the tandem read was to kind of break up that book.
Yes, it's to break up his point of view because people don't like him.
Yeah.
There are important things that happen in the world that make it necessary for the final book, but a lot of people don't like him. And so I don't hate or love him. I have an ambivalence toward his character. I thought he was great.
No positive or negative feelings towards him yet?
Well, I thought he was a great character in the beginning, and then he did some very shady things, but he's also learned and grown from those things. And so, you know,
I didn't go past Queen of Midnight, but if I'm thinking, I feel like that's one of the series where, like, because the actual love interest doesn't get introduced, like we have two love interests that are introduced at the beginning. If I remember correctly, because I wasn't too bugged by either of the boys. Like, is this one of those cases where we had to ruin the original love interests that were introduced in order to make the actual love interest work?
I don't think we had to ruin them so much as it was necessary for her as a character to learn that that type of a relationship that she had with him was more of a necessity versus like a necessity for her survival over like an actual loving relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So something he had to do, which he didn't really do anything. I mean, did someone that she loved and cared about die because of him? Yes. But he didn't do it maliciously. He did it because he thought he was doing what he was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Well, so it's like, you know, he made a choice. Somebody died. He didn't do it on purpose. He didn't do it out of spite. Shit happens, you know?
Yeah.
Do you break up with your boyfriend because he's driving down the road and, you know, swerves to miss a deer and hits a telephone pole and your friend's in the car with him and they die? Maybe. But also maybe not. You know?
I guess it depends on why he didn't see the deer in the first place, right?
Well, there's a lot of things, okay? A lot
yeah,
of
no, I know. There's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, was it one of those things where he was, you know, was he already driving recklessly? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, reading books out of order is not fun.
Mm-mm.
Liking it distracted by other things. Like chicken games. Libby Chicken, Hoopla Chicken.
Yeah.
Libby Chicken is one of my favorite games to play.
Is it, or is it just a game you play often?
It's not a game I play often, actually.
Okay.
I do pretty good if I like get something and I, you know, put it in there and I'm actually interested in reading it, then I will read it way before I get close to it running out. It's the ones that like I'm like, well, I don't have anything else to read and I have this one available, so I'll pull it up and then like 2 days later something else comes up that I'm more interested in reading. And so then I go to that and then at the end of the month I'm like, oh, I've only got 2 days left and I'm like, I could try to finish it by then, but if not, I'll just go back on the
Yeah. It's usually I overcommit and then I'm doing pretty well and then all of a sudden I hit a wall and I'm like, oh, there's that one book I still want to read.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to race to the finish.
I have to be honest, I do not play Libby Chicken often because I mostly forget that I have the book in the first place. No.
It's a whole other game.
Yeah. It's you know, I also do a lot of I feel like Hoopla I've never played Hoopla Chicken ever.
Yeah.
Because I never am like waiting for a book on Hoopla. It's just when it's time to read one, I just go in there. Very, very rarely do I ever have a wait list on Hoopla. So I don't have that problem. It's just like, oh, I'm ready to read this book. So I read the book, which that's how I'm currently reading Where He Can't Find You, which I started yesterday. And I downloaded it on Hoopla yesterday. It's such not a Darcy Coates book. I don't know who she was when she wrote this, but I think she was body snatched.
It wouldn't be the first time it's happened to an author.
It reads more like a Kate Alice Marshall or Kat Ellis YA than it does a Darcy Coates book, but it's still not even like the best version of a Kate Alice Marshall or Cat Alice. Like it's spooky and it's got the vibes, but the like pacing and everything is just kind of.
Is it one of her early ones?
It's so hard to tell. This is one of her newer ones. I think it was published 2023, but the way that she wrote, I mean, she had like 30 books self-published before they started publishing them traditionally. So
yeah,
it's hard to know if this was one of the first things she published or not. I just don't know. But
yeah,
her YA doesn't typically hit the same way as her adult does anyway.
Mhm.
But and I don't typically like her standard mysteries as much as I like her haunted house books.
Yeah.
I think this one does have a paranormal vibe. I don't think it is a standard murder mystery, but I'm halfway through and I haven't hit anything paranormal yet. That's another part of it. I'm pretty sure that the killer is not human, but I'm at the 50% mark and I don't have proof of that. I don't even have like an inkling of that at this point.
That feels kind of standard though for some of, like, I feel like at least half of the books where there's something supernatural going on, you don't find out what the supernatural spooky scary thing is. Like it seems like it's normal until it's freaking not.
Yeah, but usually there's been something that has happened by this point that you're like, that's weird. Like I haven't even hit a that's weird yet, really.
Okay.
So the only thing, like literally in this last chapter that I just read, so it's like people vanish, like they disappear and then they are found weeks, months, years later, with their bodies deconstructed and put back together with this red thread. And sometimes their bodies are put back together with other people's bodies. Like you get multiple bodies made into different shapes and things and weird stuff.
That feels like an episode of Bones.
It's got some weird body horror in it. Okay. But like the only like weird, unnatural kind of thing that they've discussed at this point is that there's never any witnesses to anyone being taken. Like even when there are people in a neighboring room or across the park from them or whatever, like no one hears the abduction. And so it's weird that like no one's like screaming out from a block away and you don't hear the abduction. But that's it. Like that's the only thing that has been any kind of like, well, maybe it's paranormal, maybe there's something happening that doesn't allow them to make a noise.
I wonder if they're like stumbling into some sort of liminal space.
I honestly have no idea. I know a few people who have read this that I was messaging yesterday. There's this old crusty grandpa guy that everybody in the town thinks is the murderer. Brianna was one of the people that I messaged, and I was like, please tell me that the crusty grandpa guy is not the killer, because I really don't want to read this whole book if crusty grandpa is the killer. And she didn't tell me the answer, but much like her review on Goodreads, the response was, that book is very mid. And I went, yeah, I know, but I own it, and so I feel the need to read it.
It's not helping me decide whether or not I should continue it. Sometimes a mid-book is a good time.
When I sent my message to Julie and Amber, not this Julie, the other Julie, I was, if the killer is the crusty old grandpa guy, I don't want to continue this book. And all I got was, go ahead and continue the book. So I'm assuming it's not crusty grandpa, but who knows?
Nobody knows.
So it freaks me out when you say my last name. I'm sorry. We'll throw her out. Finished my first Darcy Coates book this week, Hunted. Is there a discussion? There is a discussion for it later today. That is one of the few that I haven't read, because I think it is more of a standard mystery than a haunted house book. But her haunted house books slap. Like, they have all the creepy vibes. So always catches your attention because it's not a common name. I feel that. I watched something the other day that there was like an inspector or a detective
Mhm.
that had the same last name as me, and I was like, this is a moment of weirdness that I'm just not here for. Like, I don't.
I feel like your last
Yeah.
name is not that uncommon though.
It's not, but a lot of like, it's not typically used in like TV shows and stuff because it's so long. But I feel like people just don't want to say it, and so it's just like
Yeah.
you don't see it very often,
Makes sense.
Mhm.
except in Instant Star back in 2003. And whatever this detective guy's name was, and you know,
Mhm.
it's fine. It's totally fine. Oy vey. It's been a day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What time is it? 2:08. So we have another 50 minutes.
We could do like a half hour and then chat for a hot minute, and then
I think that's.
I mean, we could do, if you wanted, we could just do all the way up until it's time to just barely go over to my channel, because my channel we can chat more too.
We're going to chat when we get there.
It's like, yeah, we'll just chat when we get there too.
Let's do a 40, and that'll give us 10 minutes to end things out here and go, well, 5 minutes. We'll chat for a few, hop over to Margaret's channel and chat some more there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That do be how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And Julie, I did check. It's not on 2x speed. I know it feels like it is, but it's not.
I don't know. My computer just like I was like trying to count. I was like 1 Mississippi. That seems fast, and then my computer seemed to slow it down. So I don't know. Maybe it was just being weird.
Might be a weird glitch.
Yeah.
Last night when I was sprinting with Katie, she had I looked at the timer and there was like 7 minutes left, and I went to go do something and I came back and there was like 6 minutes left, and I was like, this what? And then I did something else and I looked at it and it said 3 minutes, and then I did something else and it said 1, and I came back and it said 4, and I was just like, are we time traveling or is there something going on over here? And she's like, we've time traveled a little bit. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Because I thought I was losing it.
As long as it's happening to everyone.
And not just me.
Mhm.
Then I can handle it.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Let's full screen this guy. And we will see you guys
That's
in
pretty.
40. Hello, friends. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh, I feel like I did something wrong here. But I'm not sure what it was. I did. Falling apart. No, that's
Feels
right.
like an existential mood. Ow, I just spoke to myself.
Oh, what'd you do that for?
Well, I don't know why I did that. Kind of rude. You know, it happens.
Those ones I did start at the top. I should have started one down. I started too many down. Sorry, I'm trying to I'm putting tabs in my bullet journal this month, and I spaced them to do 5 tabs, and I need to do 6.
Oh no.
I haven't cut anything out yet. I'm penciling in, which is why I pencil in. But I'm like, oh, I'm on the last one, and I went, that doesn't that's enough room for that.
That's not correct.
It's not. Okay.
That is not correct.
I'll just read you the last 5 pages. No big deal.
It happens.
It does.
You know, nobody's
That's why you work in pencil first, like you said.
Yeah.
It's the beauty of this thing. My friend the pencil and its friend the eraser.
Listen, sometimes you're not going to know how even if you could get the proportions correct exactly the first time, sometimes you just don't know how something is going to look until you've set it down on paper, you know? That's why it's always good to do a rough sketch or something like that.
Yeah. My problem was that I was I knew I needed 6, but I was looking at the last time I had done them, and then I had done 6, but the one prior to that I did 5, and I had the page open to the one of 5 instead of the one of 6. So
classic mistake.
I was copying an old one, but I had changed pages in the middle of thinking, and then didn't think, as one does.
As it happens.
It happens.
It does.
Anywho, how was that sprint for you guys?
I started downloading some footage that I needed to download, cleared out some of my Google Drive because I need to do that more often because I refuse to pay for 2. And then I came in to read for a little bit and we had a minute left, so I didn't read.
Fair enough.
I tried to figure out what I'm going to read for the next leg of Tar, and I got tired, so I gave up on that. And then I started to film a video, but we only had 15 minutes left, and I was like, I'm not going to make it in that amount of time. So everything got foiled.
But I feel that.
My plans have been unplanned.
Yep. Anyways, but yeah, I also did some research as to what sound I wanted to use for this video, what fits the vibe of the video I'm doing. Which is hard because you're trying to find something that's popular enough still that you're gonna get the attention that you want, but also you still want it to fit the vibe of your video. Anyways.
Yes. There is that.
And I moved my laundry over.
Yeah. So good for you.
So I won. I won 1 sprint.
That's a win. That's a win. That's a win for the day, I feel like. I feel like we won the day.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick check-in with our friends here, and then we'll pop out so we can pop over to Margaret's channel, where I believe Neva will be joining us after having woke up from a Jess nap.
I did not take a Jess nap last night because I texted the group at 7, hey, I'll be in once I'm done making dinner for everybody because I made a big old chicken and there will be videos for it. And then we had dinner because since I invited my parents to dinner, I was like, I'll sit and eat dinner with you. But then I sat on the couch for a hot minute while I was waiting for something to start soaking. And I didn't get up off of the couch for several hours.
It happens to the best of us.
The worst part is I wasn't even asleep. It's just I was like, okay, I'm gonna scroll for a hot minute while I'm waiting. And then I was like, oh, it's almost time for me to go to bed.
Your body was done for the day.
It really was. It truly, truly was.
That chicken wore it out.
Especially when it used a 475-degree oven in July.
Whose idea was that, Margaret?
That was my idea. The cookbook that I'm using for this video project doesn't exactly have a lot of, cold things that I can eat.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You do have a lot of dietary restrictions, and therefore you must restrict.
Yeah. Apparently, they don't think that salads are very hobby. So.
I mean, we've kind of discussed that already today.
Which is kind of funny because if you listen to the beginning of The Hobbit, the beginning of Lord of the Rings, I believe it is. It's actually the hobbits like stuff that grows. It's not that they're so into food. It's that they enjoy the things that you need to, growing the things that you need to make food.
They do like comforts.
We are hobbits. Pretty much. We just have Tennille saying that they did a bunch of chores.
Yeah.
And why are there so many?
Yeah.
That's why we should have a 3-day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't even be mad if we just kept a 5-day work week and gave everybody an extra day for the week. So it's an 8-day week instead of a 7-day week.
We have a 3-day weekend next weekend.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Friday's off. Free Friday. And then Christina had problems with her laptop. It was doing weird things. And so she did no reading.
Extremely rude of your laptop, Christina.
Yeah.
All the rudes.
I think you can report that to its manager. I believe that's how that works.
More laundry, more cleaning. Tennille has Tuesday off. So a non-weekend adjacent day off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, because Tennille's in Canada, and for them it's July 1st.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know this because the first year that we did the mid-year scramble, Cal was one of the hosts. And so Cal had Friday off, and I had Monday off. It was funny.
Whatever works, man.
Yeah. That worked out well.
Okay. Hubby's reading Hunted, thinks he's telling me where he is and what he thinks is going to happen. I just sit there and nod. Yes, I see what you think. Congratulations for thinking. Canada Day, Confederation Day. Signed papers instead of fighting a war.
Good on you.
Highly recommended. Don't tell him what's going to happen, Christina. That's so mean.
What you do, Christina, is you tease him with the fact that you know. You just go, you have to keep reading.
Or you tell him something that didn't happen but could be plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was getting close.
No, you'll have to keep reading to see if you're right.
There are some times where I just ask specific questions. Like, is this thing going to happen? Because if it is, I don't want to waste my time finishing this book. That's the only time where I ask someone. Like, is this a thing that happens? Because if it is, then this is not the book for me.
Says, I am done. Yeah.
And I'm done.
Example A is the crusty old man going to murder everyone.
Exactly. Is the crusty old man the murderer? Because if crusty grandpa is the murderer, I don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fine way to live your life.
Yeah. Sometimes there will be things where I'm like, hey, if this is going to happen, I need to know now so I can prepare myself for the eventuality of this happening in this book. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to finish the book. It's just that, like, there are certain things I want to know before I get too attached to characters. That's why I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna find this thing to get us out of here, and then we'll pop over
Okay.
to Margaret's and continue this conversation.
And Margaret actually sent the link this time before
She
people had to really ask.
Look at her go.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing sometimes.
Make sure there's nothing important in there. Make sure I hit the right button. Everybody wave
And
bye.
then-